Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Loki, and today I'm doing something a little different. It's the end of 2015 F1. So they've wrapped up a real life. They've done in Abu Dhabi, and now we're off to getting ready for next year. And I thought I might do a little recap for this year. I haven't talked much about F1 in real life. I have in a couple of races I've done, but never done it, as I said, as a video. I've tweeted about it a little bit, but not a lot. So, 2016, starting from hopefully New Year's. I'm not 100% sure. I am moving over New Year's, so this might not go into effect, but definitely before F1 starts again. I will be doing a weekly news video for you guys, and a lot more to do with Formula 1. I love Formula 1, and I really want to do more. Maybe not play the game, but I replace that with talking about it as a segment. Now, let's get on to what happened this season and what I think will happen next season and a few other things. So, this season, as a lot of you would know, Lewis Hamilton won the championship about 4 races before the USA. So you have Mexico, Brazil. So 3 races before the end he won. He had 3 races of he didn't have to win. And a lot of you will know that even before that, Nico Rosberg started doing really well, picking up the pace and all that. Now you can say that Nico was doing well and everything. I don't think he was. I think the team were giving him a better car, not focusing on Hamilton, making sure he gets second so they get the 1-2 in the championship and everything. I don't think Lewis had a equal car, and you guys don't know my opinion on who's the better driver. I think Lewis is the better driver, as in he can drive a bad car, like he can get in and drive anything, and he'll give you a better result than Nico will. I think Nico's a really good driver. He can set a car up well, but it has to be 100% for him to do well. I'm saying that he's still a phenomenal driver, to make it into Formula 1 and all that. I just say I don't know if he's world champion material. You put him up against, Fernando Alonso now, you put him up against all the drivers now, I think you'll see that he won't be that equal to them. But, yes, we're going to next year. So that's Mercedes. I think, Lewis we'll have to wait and see. I think Nico might go in and Mercedes might give Nico a championship. If they don't, Nico won't be there for next year. I think they'll replace him. As much as good, you can market it as 2 rivalries. You don't want a rivalry in a team. It never ends well, as we're seeing. So I think that Nico will be gone at the end of next year. They'll replace him with someone from a junior driver. Maybe Verstappen's contract's a year longer, so it would be like someone like Sainz and all of that, whose contract do expire. Hulkenberg's expires, which also brings up a good point. That move on to Ferrari. Ferrari's had a really good season this year with Sebastian Vettel. Not so much with Kimi Räikkönen. Good end to his year, but he's not doing well. He's underperforming. And I think the only reason they have him next year is because they're waiting. They don't want to put a young driver in, wait 2 years, and they don't get the driver they wanted. They want a driver, and there's 2 drivers that contracts expire at the end of next year, which is Nico Rosberg and Daniel Ricciardo's. Both their contracts expire. So I think Ferrari might be going for one of them. I feel like Mercedes will be going for one of them. One of those drivers. But I don't think Kimi will be there next year. Kimi's a fantastic driver. I think it's phenomenal. He's not getting down with these new cars as well as he should. He's had an unlucky year this year, but he's racing midfield and expecting everyone to get out of his way because it's Kimi Räikkönen. He enforces his way through and everything, but it's not how these cars work anymore, and I think that's where he's struggling to come to grips with. So then we go down to Red Bull's the next one. At this date, they still haven't said what engine they're going to be with. Probably going to be Renault, but not a factory Renault, a Renault from another guy. So if you guys don't understand, they didn't really clarify that in any F1 footage I saw. But that basically is, so Renault will make the engine, but then what do you know, for a whole season, what do? You go and go, here's your engine, you race it. You work on upgrading it, tuning it, and doing everything to its best. So they might have another head engineer come in and build that engine and work on that engine. And it's looking, if they were to do it, it'd be someone who's in association with Audi, not Aldi. But yeah, it'll be them, because that allows them to develop a Formula 1 engine, develop a Renault engine, see what their competitors are, and help them with their 2018 campaign. Now, I know there are going to be specs changing, but Audi hasn't been in F1 before, not what I know of. So that's where I think you're going to see someone from their statue working on it. Now, what else is there? So Red Bull, that's their engine. They've had a pretty good season. I mean, they have the tantrum with like, oh, we're not getting what we want out of Renault. Mind you, Renault did screw them over. They basically said, here's last year's engine again. You know, I don't think Renault did a good enough job to Red Bull. And everyone's like, you know, Red Bull's complaining that they're not making as much money. And they're like, and people are saying that midfield teams are making money. Well, breaking even. I wouldn't say they're making money, but they're breaking even in their midfield teams. So, I don't know if you guys understand, but when you have 4 years of being, you know, winning double championships, so constructors and drivers, you acquire sponsors who put more money into the sport, into your team and everything. And that's all well and good, don't get me wrong, you know, more money means you can upgrade the car, develop the car better. It's all nice. But they also expect you to do well. They're like, well, here's our money, but you need to perform for us. And when you don't, they don't really pay you as much, or they don't pay you at all. And that's where being a front-running team going to a midfield team, they actually lose millions or billions or however much they put into it. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's not Red Bull's having, you know, they got no justified points. They really do. They definitely shouldn't be going on about it as much as they are. But I guess they are, you know, they want to stay in. They put a lot of money into the sport, like 4 times as much as Mercedes or any other manufacturer or any other team for that matter there. They put a lot of money in it. So I feel like they have been a little hard done by. But at the same time, it's like, come on, pick your pieces up together and move on. You know, look at Williams, they're there. Everyone has their good road, and then they have their bad road, and then they get their good road again. I think Red Bull's on their bad road, building up to a second good road, and learn all again. Because all there, for a long time as well with Red Bull, the team was very close. You know, none of the team would leave. You know, they stayed there for 5 years, 6 years, and no one left. People joined, no one ever left. And now, at the end of last year, Sebastian Vettel left to another team, and a lot of engineers and all of that were moving, and that, I think that's hurt Red Bull as well. It's like, okay, all their secrets and stuff that they had on other teams is now going out, and that, as I keep saying, hurt them a lot. So, I'm trying to think of another team on this. So, yeah, well, we'll go to McLaren Honda. Shitty year, no denying that. Worst car on the field. They came into the sport with high hopes, but they didn't perform. But mind you, they did. If you went back 1 year, they would be fighting for top positions. You know, they had a great engine for last year. So I'm just gonna have a quick drink. So yeah, so they had a great car for last year. This year, no. There's no denying that it was a horrible car. And well, great chassis, not a great chassis, a decent chassis, but not the best. and that can't save you, unfortunately, like Red Bull. No best chassis in the field, but not enough horsepower, you ain't gonna do anything. So they couldn't do anything. My dad, actually, who I watch a lot of Formula One with, pointed out to me that you actually look at McLaren and they come out of corners, and he always said that they kept up with other cars. I always saw that they were beating other cars, only a little bit, but beating other cars. Then you get into like 7th gear, and then no, they're something with their energy recovery system or something. Either way, they'll work on it. I think they'll be a different team next year. They won't be a front running team. They might be the front of the midfielders, but I don't think they'll be a front running team at all. So we'll go on to Williams from there. You have Felipe Massa. He's looking good. He looks like he's gone from Ferrari and gone like, it's like, oh, he's getting to the end of his career. He's going to go Williams, finish his career off there. Which, mind you, he will finish his career, but everyone's like, oh, he'll just be Bottas's mentor, bring up Bottas. He won't do well. He won't, outbeat Bottas. Bottas, the Formula driver. Mate, you can say what you want, but he is giving every race 110%. He's a lot of people are saying that they've never seen him drive this good in his career. Like, he's driving so well. He doesn't have a car, unfortunately, to put behind it, but he's driving so well. So I think he's phenomenal. He's a great mentor for Bottas. I think he's helped the team a lot, and he's still helping them. They know they don't have the chassis. They have the power, obviously, because of Mercedes. And Mercedes is helping them out. It's like their second hand. That's another contract that expires. Sorry, I just remember Bottas' contract expires at the end of next year. So, I think he only signed a 1 year from this year. So, they might be looking at him, Mercedes and Ferrari. But yeah, so, you look at Williams. They are... I think Bottas is a phenomenal driver. He's got a good career. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, they have a pretty good season. So we'll move on to Force India. We got 5th in the constructors. They've had one. I think they got 5th once at a time, which was like 2007 or something, like way long ago. But since then, they went back. But every season since then, they've gone one top in the constructors and one top and one top. Crazy statistic, I know, but it's a interesting one. You look at that, and they might, if they get 4th next year, then you can expect the year after that they'll get 3rd. Like, I honestly think they would have been better than Williams this year if they had their chassis sorted out since day one. They've had a fantastic second half. I think since Silverstone, they've had an amazing chassis, but before that, nope. It was horrible. It was like they did something with that chassis that just did not want to work. So you had that. Hulkenberg staying there for 2 years. I'm sure he can release from his contract if he's allowed to go to Mercedes, Ferrari, or anyone like that. I'm sure it's not. He's stuck there for 2 years. And I give my honest thoughts about Hulkenberg. I think he would have been able to challenge Sebastian Vettel for those 4 years in a row more than Alonso or anyone else could. I think he would have been a very surprising driver in a car. He did I think it was the Korean Grand Prix in 2013. Yeah, it would have been 2013. I think for like 20 laps, and he had like 10 lap older tyres than the 2 cars behind him, which was Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. He was in a Sauber, and for like 20 laps, he held them off and kept them behind him and got 4th. Now, it's like, that is a phenomenal thing to do, holding off 2 guys then who have good cars. Mind you, the Mercedes was a good qualifier, didn't have a good race, but still had speed. Mind you, it was damn quick, it was just too hard on its tyres. And the Ferrari, in that time, was really good as well compared to a Sauber. Mind you, Sauber's one of those teams that they come home strong. Shitty start to the year, but they really do well at the end of the season. So, I think that's something to look at. we'll get on Sauber. But anyway, Nico Hülkenberg, I think he's a driver. I don't think he'll go to Ferrari and do well now. I think he's kind of. I think he'll go there, but he doesn't have enough years to do much. He might win a championship, but he won't win more than one. We'll go on to his teammate now. We'll go to Sergio Perez. Fantastic driver. Yet don't think he's good as Hülkenberg, but I do think he's a phenomenal driver. I don't know why McLaren got rid of him. That was like one of the stupidest things they ever done. But I mean, they did it. They've kind of been stupid lately. I don't know how else to put it. If you guys are McLaren fans, I'm sorry, but they've really done some stupid driver moves lately. So yeah, I mean, Sergio Perez, as I said, Force India is a great team. Sergio Perez is a great driver. I think it's world championship material. I don't think it's a multi-world champion. I think it's just he'll win one or two. I don't think he'll win two. I think he'll win one, and that'll be it. We'll go Sauber. I was talking about them before. So we look at Sauber. They had a decent start to the year. As I said, they usually do well at the end of the year. They kind of did good in the first few races. Didn't do well for the rest of the season. And then the last couple they did alright. Not amazing, but they did alright. Which is interesting. They had Marcus Ericsson, who had done a season in Formula 1, but carried to him, so not too quick of a car. But he had done a year, so he knew a little bit. And then you had Felipe Nasr, and he's a pretty good driver. I don't know who's best. I haven't really been following Sauber this year, but they're both phenomenal drivers. The car's pretty good. I mean, it shows good form for the rest of the, or not the rest of the year, the next coming years. If they can deliver a better chassis, I think they'll be right up there in the midfielders, like probably going to a front runner almost. So Marussia, they were there. I mean, there's not else you can say. They did the best they could with what they had. That's the best way to put it. They didn't have a factory. They didn't have a lot, and they did all right. I mean, they made it. They didn't get disqualified for no 110% or 100 whatever percent it is. So I mean, they're good. I feel sorry for them, but I think they'll have a decent year next year. I'll get on to another video from what my thoughts are on next year, but I think they'll do well coming up in the next few years. They got a couple of drivers that are really good. I hope. Oh, we got Lotus. Lotus is by the way, I am leaving Toro Rosso to last deliberately. But yes, Lotus. Well, I think they're lucky to finish the season. Thanks to Bernie, they got lent $300 million. I think it was more than that. I'll just have another drink quickly. Sorry, I'm losing my throat a little bit. But yeah, we got lent like $300 million from Bernie to finish the season because he didn't want 18 cars on the field. You want as many as possible. So, Lotus, the secret's out. They're going to get brought by Renault. There's no denying that. If they don't, I think everyone will be shocked. But they can't afford to do another season. Bernie, I think, won't let them even turn up because he lent them $300 million to finish the season. That's your lot, get out. It's crazy some of the things you hear about them. Like, you look at the most employees. You got Red Bull, you got Mercedes, and then it's Lotus. Like, it's not Ferrari, it's not McLaren, it's not anyone else. It's Lotus. It's got the third most employees, and they've got like 100 more than fourth. Like, they've got a lot of employees. Too many, it turns out. They went. For those of you who don't know Lotus' story, I'll let you know. Basically, they did well, but didn't do well enough for so many years, and they've run out of money. There's no other way to put it. They have no more money, then they're going to have to leave the sport. Now, if you don't know what Renault is happening, well, Renault used to be the supplier to Red Bull and Toro Rosso. Actually, no, Ferrari used to be. But recently it's been Renault to Toro Rosso. And they pretty much, when they didn't give Red Bull their engine, Red Bull tore up their contract, and Renault's like, well, shit, our only customers are gone. We need a team. You know, Lotus, I believe, was running a Mercedes engine. They should have been running a Mercedes engine this year. So they were like, well, shit, we don't have an engine. Well, we don't have a car. So it's like, we better buy a team again. They've been in the sport for so long, you know. That's why they want to stay in. So they looked at Lotus because they've got, you know, the employees, the factories, everything they need. Maybe not everything, but pretty much everything, you know. So they're looking at buying them. Thoughts on the drivers? Maldonado, God, he's got a lot of money to stay in Formula 1. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, he just crashes in every single race. Which, speaking of, holy shit, Abu Dhabi was his first crash, I believe, that I've ever seen. Wasn't his fault. Was not his fault. I give him that. But he's a shit driver nonetheless. He does not deserve to be in Formula 1. He's only there because he has a butt ton of money and connections and friends. So, thank God he'll be leaving. Hopefully soon. And Grosjean is the other driver. He's out. He's going to Haas, which, another video, but briefly, they're American NASCAR team, and they want to come into Formula 1, and they've been looking at this for 4 years now. They've been building up to this. 4 years ago, they said, we're going to Formula 1. 3 years ago, they're like, we're going to be with Ferrari. And then pretty much been sharing data and designing. Like, they've just been getting ready for next season. So they're going to come in with a little bit of force. I don't think they'll do 100%, but they will do well. So yeah, so I'll get off that. So yeah, Grosjean. I think Grosjean's a lot of people are going to judge me for this. He is a world champion material. He's, you know, yeah, when he was younger and he started in Formula 1, he had a high ego and got into a few accidents. More than a few, he got disqualified for a race. But, you know, now that's behind him, you see he's driving with real maturity. He's driving really well, and I think he will be definitely a threat later on. But unfortunately for him, he can't escape his past of having that many accidents. So, and that many, you know, things. He stopped, Maldonado has not, for sure. So that's my thought on that. Now I'll get to Toro Rosso. How else do I put it? That they've got two of the best drivers, I think, that will be in Formula 1 ever, maybe. If you don't know the drivers, Carlos Sainz, I don't know his father's name, something Sainz, who's a multiple World Rally champion. Like, he's won multiple championships. I think he's the best ever World Rally and all of that. So Carlos Sainz is his son that went, rather than do rally, I'm going to stick to the track and do some F1 and worked his way up. And I think, in my opinion, he's better than Verstappen. He's had a better season. He's had one too many mechanical problems, and I think that's a Helmut Marko doing, pulling some strings like he did with Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. If you guys don't know what that is, I think it's 2010. Mark Webber was pretty much going to win the championship. The last few races to go, you know, he just needed to finish, you know, in the point somewhere. And there was always something going wrong with his car from that point on. And oh my God, Sebastian Vettel won. Don't get me wrong, Sebastian Vettel, he'll beat Schumacher's record. He's, you know, phenomenal driver. I just don't think he is. Mark deserved the championship and he never got it. And even Mark Webber said, you know, he could sit down and have a cup of coffee with Sebastian Vettel. Not Sebastian Vettel's fault at all. No, I mean, Sebastian Vettel did a couple of dick moves, yeah. But Helmut Marko is the one that enforced everything. Like, Sebastian Vettel would have been like, oh, I want to do this. But you're telling me the team can't stop him? No, Helmut Marko is like, no. You gotta do what I say now. So I feel, you know, Mark Webber got cheated, and I feel like that's what's going on with Verstappen. Verstappen's the wonder boy, you know. The, oh my god, look at this. He's the new Sebastian Vettel, Michael Schumacher and that. 17. He came in. He's a month older than me. Month older than me. And I am 18. So, I just recently turned 18. So, he was 17 for a long time in Formula 1. So, he's interesting. I think a little young, very immature. Showed his immaturity this year for sure. Jesus, he got. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, or you haven't watched any, or you missed some of the races that this happened in, there was one that he had someone hit him, and all he did, they got on the radio and they're like, okay, you got a flat right, pit, and you know, typical driver talk, they would go, okay. He went on the radio and went, I didn't do that, I didn't hit him, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. And it's like, literally like that fast, and the team couldn't say anything. And then eventually he stopped, and then the team's like, yeah, we know you didn't do that. How's the car feel? And he goes, oh, I didn't cause the accident, I didn't do that. And so the team's like, we need to know how the car feels. He's like, I got a flat ride. It's like, yeah, we know you got a how does the steering feel? He's like, I got a flat ride. And you can argue that, you know, oh, he's not a good driver. Yeah, I think he is. He was a little overwhelmed. But that's just immature. He'll learn to get out of it. He'll learn that, oh shit, something happened. Let's get on with it. And, you know, you got an example of his teammate. Carlos Sainz had an accident and was like, oh, I had an accident or pop tire or something. And he's like, okay, I'll pit. How's the car feel? Oh, you know, the bodywork looks okay and it feels okay. It's like, that's what you got to do. And his teammate showed a lot of maturity. His teammate also showed that he can do long stints on tires and go faster doing those stints. Like, you look at Ricardo, he's a quick driver who uses nothing of his tire. And I think that's a Carlos Sainz as well. I really do think Carlos Sainz is better, and Verstappen still a phenomenal driver, but not as good as Sainz. He definitely should not get in the main game anytime soon. I don't think Kvyat is a world champion. I don't think I've said this before, but I don't think he's a world champion. Phenomenal driver. I don't think he's a great driver. I don't think he's able to win the world championship or, you know, muscle his way through. Verstappen obviously can. Carlos Sainz obviously can. Ricciardo can. Haven't seen Kvyat do that. So that'll be interesting to see. And yeah, so I went on for half an hour. I really want to do this in 15 minutes. So I apologise. This is just my thoughts on this 2015 series. Season. And if you guys have your thoughts, let me know in the comments. I'll reply to them as soon as I see them. I always do. And thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Also leave a comment for anything you would like me to talk about in my next video, which will be my 2016, like what's going on in 2016 in Formula 1. As I said, this from New Year's, I'm hoping that every week there'll be something about Formula 1. I'll have a video up talking about it. Don't know how long, I haven't worked it out a lot, but that's my plan. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.
That's P7. You've moved into P7. Hamilton's just made a move for first. You need to slow down before hitting the corners. We don't want to get a penalty. Hamilton's in first place. Don't forget, hit in this lap. Okay, at this rate we'll finish with a little extra fuel, so you have some in hand to run a faster engine mode for a bit. Confirmed, we'll adjust the front wing on your next box. We're now down to our last quarter of a tank. That's 25% fuel remaining. Complete, go now. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Tyre temperatures are good. Massa ahead. Just 1 second separates you. 5 laps till the end. Information for you on the fuel. Our level is now at 10 kilograms. That's 10 kilograms of fuel remaining. so far. Much faster than Ricardo. Keep pushing. You're creating a good lead over Massa. You're around 2 seconds a lap faster than him. You're 5 seconds adrift of Bottas. We've only got about 5 kilos of fuel remaining now. That's 5 kilos of fuel. Hamilton's out in front. We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2. Okay, we're running pretty light at this point. There's just 5% of our initial fuel remaining. If you continue to cut corners, the stewards will give you a penalty. Your pace is stronger than Bottas. He's losing a full second a lap to you. You're creating a good lead over Ricardo. You're around 2 seconds a lap faster than him.
A great drive from the world champion Lewis Hamilton. On days like today, he's just unbeatable in that Mercedes.